everyone to the party.
This is what we do. Gives a nice filler for people to kind of funnel in.
Your dress is cute.
Thank you.
Okay. Ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mindful Mondays, Childhaven. We're really happy to be back after last week's break and super excited today to be joined by another fabulous staff member of Childhaven, Janice Davis-Lee. Janice leads as a WISE coach in our wraparound program in Auburn, and is going to be sharing today some ways to de-stress. And so super excited to have Janice, and I'm just going to turn it right over, not waste any time, so we can hear from her.
All right, thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm just so happy to be here with you all today. Thank you for taking the time out to join in with us, and hope everybody can see me okay. Do we need to turn the lights on? Are we okay?
We're good.
All right, okay. All right, so what we're going to be talking about today is how to de-stress your life. You know, we have a lot going on right now, and we need to find ways that we can be healthy. And I'm going to talk about stress and how it affects you and different things that you can do to be healthy. Well, first of all, what is stress? What is stress? Stress is different ways that your body will respond to different situations that you may be in. That is stress. You know, there might be, you've got some bad news today, or, you know, got into a situation like last year, I got into a car accident. That was instant stress. And so when you have stress, somehow it affects your body in some kind of way. There's a book that talks about your body tells a story, because when you go through different things, it goes, it affects your physical, you know, and mental as well. So when you sense danger, you know, that causes stress. What is the real or imagine, you know, that you might think you walking down the street and say, oh, I don't want to go across that bridge, you know, it might break. You know, those are imagined stresses. You know, the body defenses, you know, it's either fight or flight. That when you get in a situation, am I going to stand here and fight? Or am I going to be like, oh my God, I'm out of here, I'm done, I don't want to do this. You know, so is it fight or flight? So I did have a picture of a person that had a big, huge spider on their head. They're like, oh my God, the spider. You know, if I saw a tarantula right now that's crawling in this room, I'm not going to fight, I'm going to flight. I'm going to let you know that I'm going to run, because I do not like tarantulas. And so how stress affects the body, this is very important. That when you feel threatened, or you're nervous, or releasing a flood of stress, including adrenaline, which rouses the body to emergency action, that you tense up all of a sudden. Oh my God, how am I going to respond? Your heart pounds faster, muscles tighten, blood pressure rises, your breath is quickened, and your sense to become sharper all of a sudden when you're in the midst of stress. These physical changes increase your strength and stamina. When you're in a stressful place, I remember this young man there was this big accident to where this bus had tipped over and had fallen on a person. This man had enough adrenaline that he literally lifted up the bus. So when you're in a stressful danger, how am I going to respond? You cannot imagine the things that your body will set itself to do that. It responds to that. And the next part is what causes stress? Work, home, your job, family. What causes stress? Major life changes. We're all in a major change right now with COVID-19, quarantine. Oh my God, that has caused a major stress. Right now, there's 33 million people that are unemployed. We have down in different places, trying to pay their rent, different things that we're dealing with through COVID-19, losing loved ones. That's called your work, your school, relationships. They're saying now that they're needing marriage counseling for marriages right now because they're in the house and they can't go nowhere. They can't run off and say, I don't want to be with you anymore. They have no place to go. And so right now in quarantine, relationship difficulties, that can cause some stress. Financial problems, being too busy, or children and family. Those type of things will cause stress. And if Raphael can just give me a countdown because I don't want to go over.
You're good.
Just let me know because I can keep going on and on. I'm all right. And so the top 10 stressful events that most people will go through, I'm going to just say pause just for a moment and just mention just a tiny bit about this weekend. That this weekend we saw all over the world just people protesting, and all the different things that have transpired through that, and not only in America, in London and different places that they're now protesting because they believe that justice, they want to see justice. They want to see, black men being able to be considered human beings. We're in a stressful state right now. And so that's one thing that causes stress. Stress, death of a spouse, going through divorce, marriage separation. These are different things that causes stress in your life. Of course, imprisonment, death of a close family member. A lot of us are experiencing that right now. There are over 100,000 people that have died in America. Can we just pause and think about that for a minute? 100,000 people. That's somebody's grandmother, somebody's grandfather, somebody's uncle, cousin, brother, sister. That right now people are grieving over loved ones. I experienced the coronavirus. I was almost gone, but I don't know how I made it, but I'm here. I survived. Can you believe it, Megan?
We're so glad you're here.
I survived the coronavirus. I don't know how it happened, but I'm here. And that causes. So we have people that have experienced death in the past few months. That causes stress. Injury or illness, like I mentioned before, I was in a car accident. Marriage, job loss, marriage reconciliation. It even causes stress just to try and get back together. That's kind of stressful. And then retirement. I remember retirement can be stressful. I remember there's a person that worked for the city of Seattle. He had worked for the city of Seattle for over 30 years. And his last day was on Friday. He woke up on Monday. Well, actually, he never woke up on Monday. He ended up passing because I think it was so stressful for him that he's been doing this for so many years. It's almost like, okay, now what do I do? So retiring, planning out how you're going to retire. And what is stressful for you? If you can just stop and just think about that. What is stressing you right now? If you could just take a moment, get out a piece of paper and just write down the things that are stressing you. And a lot of times this is good therapy. Writing is good therapy because you're getting it out, you're getting it off your mind, you're writing it out, and you can look at it and then you can start taking some action to it. So just take a quick moment and just write down what is stressing you right now. Childhaven is such a wonderful organization, and it's an amazing place for the work that we are doing. And a part of it, we have counseling, we have therapy, and what is really nice here at Childhaven is that we have reflective therapy for all of our staff members. That's amazing. In all the years that I worked, I've never had our CEO to think about our well-being. That's amazing. We get reflective care here, reflective therapy here at Childhaven. I'm so excited about that. So, with that, think about it, where you're at and what is causing you to be stressful. I want to read this here. Whatever event or situation is stressing you out, I want you to know there's always ways of coping with the problem and regaining your balance. I wish you could see the picture that I have. I have like a teeter-totter, and that's where our life is sometimes. We're trying to balance our life, and so work to try and gain that balance. And I want to read this poem to you that I really like, and it says, "Life is all about balance. You don't always need to be getting stuff done." That's me. I'm always trying to get stuff done. "Sometimes it's perfectly okay and absolutely necessary to shut down, kick back, and do nothing." Sometimes that is so hard, and it really is hard for me because I'm such a go-getter. I feel like if I'm sitting still in my chair in the living room, I don't feel right because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing something. That's why I don't look at TV very much, because I think that's a waste of time. I said, I'm supposed to be doing something. Why am I looking at TV? So with that, it's okay to do nothing. I think that's what I'm trying to learn through this COVID-19. I'm trying to just, relax, and it's okay to walk and just de-stress. What's interesting too, everyone, is that your stress can cause health problems. There are a lot of people that are experiencing health problems and don't realize it's from stress. They're so stressed out that it's affecting their body. Remember early on I said that it affects you physically? Well, listen to some of the things that causes stress. Depression and anxiety. This is the highest one, depression and anxiety. And I think a lot of people, even from this weekend and what they're going through, the riots and people losing their businesses. A young man said, "Oh my God, everything I've worked for, gone in a matter of minutes." So depression, anxiety, people are experiencing pain of any kind, sleep problems, immune diseases, digestive, skin conditions, stress can cause that, heart disease, weight problems. Maybe that's why I'm starting to gain a little weight, because I'm stressed out. And then reproductive issues, thinking and memory problems. These are things that can cause physically problems. Now I'm going to go through 6 ways. Am I doing okay on time? We'll go through these 6 ways to de-stress. How long have we been on here?
12 minutes. 13 minutes.
Oh, we're doing good, everybody. Well, I can slow down because I feel
You're
like
good.
I'm doing all right.
It's stressful.
Yes, it is. Hi, everybody. Thanks for those that are tuned in to us. I'm so glad you all can join us. Now we're going to talk about 6 ways to distress. Now, when stress strikes, try one of these techniques for a cool down. All right? So the first one is do something. You want to change your environment, because right now we can't really help it. We're in the house. Do something pleasurable, relaxing, a little while, like reading, like I said, watching TV, or taking the nice hot bath or shower. Or if you're at work, we're at home right now, step out a few minutes and just get some fresh air. That's a good way to distress. So pretty much just change your environment. That's number 1. And then number 2, practice breathing exercises. Focus on your breath, pushing all of your thoughts aside. Be conscious of the breath coming in and out. Focus on the sensation and the inhaling and exhaling. So sometimes it's good. It's just, how about we all do it together? You just inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale. Ooh, don't you feel better? Just feel a little more relaxed, you know, with your breathing. My aunt years ago, she told me, she said, Janice, I learned this here. My aunt Charlotte actually was the first African American commissioner for employment security for the state of Washington. She worked with Governor Inslee. And you guys see all these resource buildings, you know, for the state of Washington? Well, my Governor Inslee gave my aunt Charlotte a budget to go out and find property so that we can build all these resource centers. So all these resource centers is the work of my aunt Charlotte. Yeah. So that was just a little minor break. But my aunt Charlotte, who was a great speaker, she told me, she said, Janice, if you're working on a creative project and you need more brain work, she said, breathe through your right nostril. Close your left and then breathe through your right. That'll get more air to your creativity side. So if you're sitting there and you're trying to get some creative thoughts, just inhale through your right side and you'll get more air on that right side and you'll come up with all kind of ideas. And become so, I've done this for years. This is what I do. When I have to deal with math and analytical things, you breathe through your left nostril. That's where your analytical and your thinking and analyze all comes through your left nostril. I have to use my left nostril all the time. What am I writing? It's like, oh no, math problem. So that's a little technique that she had taught me that I've always used. So use your breathing. 7 ways to de-stress. You know, I don't know if you sometimes can just meditate. This does not mean sitting with your legs crossed on the floor or burning incense. It's really about just quieting your mind. Just find a place that I can just sit and I can just quiet, be in the moment, just everything around you, just observe without reacting. Have you ever just sat somewhere and just kind of looked around and just even looked at a tree and be like, wow, look at the branches. Because we are moving so fast. We're in the world, we're moving so fast. And most of us are walking like this because we're looking at our cell phones. We don't even see the world going by. We just got our phone. But take the time to put your cell phone down and just look and see what's around you. Look at your surrounding. Like I can look out this window and I can see the clouds and the sky and the sun, you know, and just take a moment and appreciate that. So that is a form of just meditating, just stopping and being in the moment. All right. Are there any questions so far on there so far? Everybody's good? Everybody's all right? All right. And then the next way is that you can, 1, 2, 3, we're on the 4th one. Do relaxing exercises. I'm not good at exercising. But sometimes known for progressive muscles relaxing, practice tensing and then releasing one of your muscle groups. Your body is sociologically relaxed, meaning then you can't be distressed. What I sometimes do is I have a stress ball that I have that at the house, and I usually use my stress ball. I just squeeze it, and that helps to release some of the tension and some of the stress. And so that's good. Good thing to do with just relaxing. You know, your arms are tensed up. Just relax. And that's another form. So number 5. I try my best to do this one, is go walking or running. I don't do so much running, but I would do the walking. you know. So it comes in handy. Exercise can be a great stress reliever. You know, if you notice a lot of people that always go to the gym and always working out, they don't seem as stressed. They just have energy and they're just going and going. And for my energy, I think it's just natural. I don't know where it comes from, but it's just this. I think because I get enough sleep. I make sure I get enough sleep. You know, that's probably why I have so much energy. And then we'll provide some perspective so you can return to a new frame of mind. So you can get out and go walking and exercising. And then the last one, number 6, is immerse yourself in some type of creative activity. Do something creative that you can enjoy, like cooking. A lot of people are starting to cook and bake now that we're in quarantine. And then I learned how to make some homemade rolls since we've been in quarantine. So I've done that. You can do photography. You can do things like, you know, of course, coloring, painting, board games. You know, those are things that you can do creative. And if you're making, it says it on here, if you're making bread and rolls out of dough, that is a great thing to do. And so I just want to encourage all of you. I hope that you learned something today, how to de-stress your life, you know, and don't let it, the stress take you over. Okay, so we have a few questions. How many minutes are we at?
We're at 20.
Okay.
You can go for another few minutes, yeah.
Okay. It says, what are helpful ways to, when your stress level, this is a question that we have, what are helpful ways when your stress level is high? I think the best thing to do is to definitely exercise your breathing, you know, because I just found out about my cousin, you know, last week. They were in the hospital. They've had several strokes. And, you know, when you, like I said, when you receive information, it affects you physically. So what I would normally do is just use my breathing exercise. If it's so high, the kids, they just broke the TV. Oh my God, they just wrote all over my $100,000 painting. What am I gonna do? You know, because you're in the house with your children and you're trying to get them under control. You know, just take a deep breath and then think about, you know, how can I, you know, make a step towards resolving this situation. You know, just come up with the plan, because I've raised 3 children and they all were extremely active. I was so happy to drop them off at daycare. But I learned to just, you know, find a ways, and I would encourage you to do breathing exercise and then think about, how am I going to resolve? What's my first step from here to resolve it? And it says, how can adults keep little kids de-stressed? How can adults keep little kids de-stressed? The only thing that I can tell you in COVID-19, you've got to keep them busy. What I did when I raised my children in my home, when I was raising them, that I made sure I had a structured day. That in the morning when they woke up, they had breakfast, and then I would say, okay, we're going to have playtime. Then I would do probably a lesson with them, and then they would help make lunch. Then we all come together, make lunch, and then after that, we got some free time to play, and then I always made sure they had a nap. Have a nap, and then they could get up, play. If you have your day structured with your children, it will cause less stress for you parents. You know, so just sit down and just plan out the entire day, because if you don't have any structure in your house, it will be chaotic and it will drive you crazy. So I would encourage you to create a structured day in your home while we're in quarantine, you know, with games. I know we have technology. If there's video games to, you know, limit that time, and have some time they all get together, go out and take a walk together, get out the house, do something together. So make sure it's a structured day. All right? So whoever gave that question, thank you.
One other thing, Janice, just
Yes.
as I'm listening to you, I'm realizing a lot of all the de-stressing tips that you went through with adults are just as relevant
Yes.
with kids. And
Exactly.
so a lot of that mind-body
Yes.
stuff, like moving your body, the breathing exercises, so
Uh-huh.
as much as kids can do those things along with their parents, I think
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
all the same strategies. Really.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Think the whole family together, say, okay, we're going to inhale, exhale,
Mhm.
you know, and it'll help the children get a little more focused. So are we running out of time?
We have 5 more minutes.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's enough time for the last question.
Last question.
All right. Last question is, what are some family activities that can help with de-stressing? Family activities, like I mentioned, cooking. You know, having something specific. We're going to make cookies or teach them how to make Jell-O. You know, just finding something in the kitchen to do. And with, you know, teaching them how to play a board game. Instead of the video games, come around and do a board game with de-stressing. Playing, you know, and de-stressing some activities. Like I mentioned, going out to walk. Going to the park, bike riding. If everybody has bikes, to go out bike riding. You know, trying to think of things. I'm trying to mention things right now that we can do in quarantine. We can't go to the YMCA, all these different places. So for quarantine, I would do these activities in the house. Any type of games, you know. You could do hide and seek in the house, you know, if your house is big enough to do that. And so those are some of the things that I would suggest that you could do as activities with your families while we're in this quarantine. So I want to thank all of you for Raphael and, am I saying it?
Rafi.
Oh, Rafi. Rafi and Megan, thank you so much for having me. This was fun. This was great. And I hope that everybody learned something. So now I'm going to turn it over to Megan.
Thank you so much, Janice.
You're welcome.
I don't want us to be out of time. I just want to keep listening to you.
No, you're fine.
So you're going to be coming back.
I would love to. I would love to.
There's another question that just came in on Facebook Live, and we'll can follow up with some resources. A great question related to some things Janice is talking about around advice about finding the right amount of news, especially around what's happening currently. Like
Yes.
you mentioned the demonstrations over the weekend and how much to expose kids to.
Yes, exactly.
So we can share some follow-up resources about that. There's some great things going out
Okay.
really about, you probably have others. I've seen some
Yeah.
just about, basically it's never too early to be talking to kids, talking
Right.
to kids about race, talking to kids about what's going on in the community, but some
Absolutely.
developmentally appropriate ways to do that, so we can definitely share
Absolutely.
some
Absolutely.
ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, and even limiting the amount of TV, because when you're watching it on news, it's the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
So just kind of limit, you know, the amount of TV. But yes, definitely let the children know, you know, what is going on in the world. When my children were young, I always told them, you know, what was happening in the world, so they were aware and sensitive to, you know, the environment. So hopefully that helps, gives an answer.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's never too late. Always, you know, always keep your children informed, you know, what's going on, and just make sure it's not too traumatic. You know, if it's something traumatic, definitely, you know,
Yeah.
show them, but you can talk about it
And there's some great books, great book lists that have come out that we can share a couple articles as a follow-up, but
Okay.
great resources out there, and a question that I'm imagining is on lots of folks' mind right now about
Yes.
how to be having those conversations and
Yeah.
an urgency to be talking about it, but also
Yeah.
an awareness of how to do it in a way that isn't
Yeah,
traumatic
exactly.
or stressful for kids in a way that it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be.
And
So.
and then speaking of that one more time is, you know, even with, you know, the African American men, you know, my story to my children is going to be different from, you know, a woman that is not of color.
Exactly.
You know, what I tell my children, you don't have to tell your child.
But,
You know,
yeah.
so even with that, our stories are different, our experiences are different. So me with my children, I'm scared for them to go out late at night. You know, because I'm afraid they're going to run into, might run into a bad cop, and I might not see my son anymore. But as opposed to a woman of color, I'm going out, son, you'll be fine. You don't have those fears
Absolutely.
that we have. So,
And I think it's interesting. It's such an important point you bring up in terms of how we navigate that as parents
Yes.
too, right?
Yeah.
And how do we, you know, as the parents of children of color, that fear
Yes.
that you're talking about,
Absolutely.
myself as a white woman, how do I be purposeful in talking to my children about it, even though I may not have to in the same way from a safety perspective, but how do we start that conversation just as young with everyone, right?
Yes.
So yeah, really
Absolutely.
interesting. That would be, I mean, just as an aside, we're collaborating on
that
that
right
now. But that'd be a really interesting topic for a future Mindful Mondays.
I think that would be an excellent topic, because there's definitely some issues that we need to address that we haven't addressed even now, and I think with us starting this dialogue will bring some peace, you know, and some hope, you know.
Thanks,
So,
Janice.
thank you, Megan. I enjoyed this.
Thanks
you.
all. We hope you'll join us next week. Thanks for your questions, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Be well.
All right. Bye.